Hi, everyone. It's Zara Altair, and this is the Midweek Zap. And today we have Adam Zale, who has been working with Steady Demand for a while now. And Adam is going to be talking about interactions between human beings, person to person, and connecting, and also taking it farther and talking about building connections for your business. So Adam, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here, and we've had a great conversation in the green room. So take a couple of minutes and tell everybody who you are, what you do.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Adam. I like to connect people. It's what I do. I'm the Vice President of Sales for Steady Demand. We're a social reach company, social profile optimization, social media marketing, semantic search, and really to sum up what I do. It's pretty easy to demystify the processes that I have in helping businesses grow or build businesses, which is what I specialize in, and I just truly enjoy connecting people. I like to bring people together and then see what happens, and then I get all the credit for what they do. So it's a pretty easy job, And if you're passionate about people and you like to see them come together, and you can see amazing things happen if you just focus on truly having the right intention, truly having personal relationships, and truly caring about the people that you're involved with. So that's what I'm passionate about. It's what I like to do. I like to see you come together with other people and connect with others, and help each other in I guess context for what we're talking about today in the marketplace. I think that radiates through life in a lot of other ways.
It does. I have to bring this up just to give you a little pressure here. We have Lee Rickler from London who says, should be a good one. If not, I have a bag of rotten tomatoes to throw. So just get ready.
we talked about this. That's my response. So I like I like fermented foods. So we're ready.
Okay. All right. So we were talking in the green room about intention, which you mentioned, and tell us a little bit about what that means.
Intention is very important to me. It's why I moved to Steady Demand, actually. I do a lot of work in search, data aggregation, and a bunch of other really nerdy things, which I'm happy to talk about, but I don't think they're very exciting. When I saw Google, really a lot of what David Amerlin's work, who we talked about earlier, moving towards human intention and meaning query and how it responds, I realized that, I've had a couple other conversations with people that, have my breadth of business development experience. I realized there's something special going on where those of us who have really earnest intention or really driven intention or the right intention can truly succeed in broadcasting our messages. Intention for me is important in a lot of ways because I do direct communication. I am not a social media guru, and I do not have the time to become one. I happen to be connected, to some of the most amazing people on the planet. So that's what I represent. And I talk to people who are not, connected to those people and are the same place. They don't want to. I don't have time for Twitter. That's my target. These are people are running companies. They don't have time, so they contract for it. It is intention that drives me forward. And so when you have the right intention with your business dealings or your personal dealings, I've found that, your results 99 out of 100 times are going to be just at a much higher level, regardless of outcomes, because you have the right intention.
Okay, I'm going to bring up a couple of comments because I think they're right in line with what you're saying. The first is from Ruwake, who says the main topic, how to connect with others and how to build on those connections, is a very tough one in my view. One needs to convert connections into clients, then make sure they become our fans, and then develop loyalty to us. All of this is tough with modern hi-bye culture. I'm interested to know and learn from Adam Zale's views on this. But then we have something else, and then I'm going to let you go back to intention. And this is from Roland Takaoka, and he's responding to Vivek. but he says, I agree and disagree to some extent. The problem with insisting people we meet are placed in the biz funnel as a rule sets an internal conflict between building deeper, meaningful relationships measured against conversations.
Agreed. Actually, so I think we're right in line. I'll give a quote that I hope answers both of those. I'm a sales geek, so I love personal motivation stuff. I've miles of it inside of my brain. This is from Dale Carnegie. How to Win Friends and Influence People is written. I don't know. It was written last century, a long time ago. But you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years trying to get other people interested in you. And that intention, I think, if you put that forefront of your business dealings, or in the, you mentioned a funnel, a business funnel. I rarely see a person in the business funnel until we're actually talking business. So the opportunities that I generate are primarily on the front part of my communications process. And whether I'm doing social media, because I do some social media marketing, I'm really do some quality direct engagement with like Facebook platform. I do wonderful on LinkedIn. So I am into social media, but I do direct engagement. I don't do broadcast engagement. My intention is first to open up the conversation, and if it's in a business context, I want to interest them in the product. I can't really get around that part. It's who I am. It's what I do. It's what I have to do, because I'm marketing today. Are you interested? Yes, no. But after that, what creates a fan? What creates, if we're talking at the smallest common denominator, I'm not talking about aggregates where we have 30,000 clients or even 1,000 or 100 where we have to market because we can't keep in touch with everybody as much as we'd like to. What creates a fan? For me, on a personal level, it has always been about that personal connection. So as a rule, when I'm earning business, or I'm trying to also earn a friend, if that makes sense. And some people may think I'm crazy for that. I mean, how can you be friends with everybody? But I believe it's possible. And I believe that your buyer's journey, or whatever marketing lingo you like to apply to your clients, is much more powerful when you're involved directly with the client and you have back to intention, an honest intention to serve. So in retrospect to making it easier to retain clients, or making it easier to build a fanatical fan base, what I would challenge is not just to promote material, but to do it with a strong intention and a little bit of passion. And I would bet you that I'd make a couple extra personal connections a day, and I bet you anything that'll create an entirely different world for you with your client base, with your sales cycle, with your prospect base, everything.
So Roland had another question. He says, what is the right intention? And I think you just answered that. Roland, tell us if you didn't. So show us your two-fisted drinking cups.
I do want to actually answer that. I would say the right intention is up to you. I can't answer that for you. I can tell you mine. I love people. I believe in them. I have a great service and I want to help. I keep it simple, and I believe in myself and my product, and I know I can help them. That drives me through a lot of that. But everybody has their own type of business or service or category that they fall into for what their activities are. I guess I don't know. How do I relate that to this cup?
Show us the other one.
It was funnier when I said it the first time, but yeah, this is I hate mornings. I think Ben is watching this and he knows I hate mornings, so I think I'm safe.
And you have another one.
And then on the other side, if that doesn't work, so if I'm in a negotiation and I'm trying to make it clear I don't appreciate being up at 4 o'clock in the morning just to talk to you today, I have grumpy.
Okay. And then Ron Snaberger says, a contact becomes a friend, then a customer, then a patron, then an evangelist for you.
That's amen. I take that to heart. Yep.
So we were talking in, let's see, we're promoting we were talking in the green room about making that first initial contact from a business perspective. I just have to tell all of you that both Adam and I are prone to make wisecrack jokes in the line at the grocery store. So we have no qualms about interacting with people right away. But yeah, some people are a little nervous about that first contact. So what can you tell people about easing into that and really making a connection rather than, here's my thing, buy it?
Sometimes that's all I do. Sometimes it's that simple. It's easier for me, and I forget that a lot. It's easier for me. I am not afraid to knock on doors if I need to do that. And as I was mentioning, we were talking in the green room about this topic, and I said my biggest challenge is time. I don't have time to try to make all cold calls or something like that. But I actually enjoy doing them. Imagine that you're watching a person right now that loves picking up the phone. The reason that I do that is because I'm different. I differentiate. And I'm going to bring this right back to intention. It really comes down to my intentions. I know I can really help. There's no way I can market to a person. No matter how many times I've done A, B, or C, I could send a letter, email, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, so many different channels we have for trying to get attention. I can't reach that person. So to me, that's why direct personal connections are really important. I will go outside. I will go to trade shows. I will go to events. I will be in a grocery store line. I'll be at a mixer, and I will find a reason to open up a conversation. My first intention is to make a friend. My second intention is to look for business. When it comes to salesmanship, which I think in the marketing world, I talk to a lot of marketers who they're like, I wish I could do what you do. I just can't. I'm afraid. It's usually some type of fear. I'd say that's your first block that you want to look at. If you're in business development for yourself, you're not a seasoned business development person, but if you're in business development for yourself, for example, and you want to work with us, you want to partner with a group or a company or a person, how are you going to do that if you don't take those steps that you need to make that personal connection? And so that's the first thing that I have to get over myself. I need to be able to look at that name and phone number, look at that individual, and I'll probably know 20, 30 things about them before I call them, of course. It's pretty easy to, if I can connect with Facebook ahead of time so they see my funny pictures and identify with me as a human, great. But even if I can or can't, I'll make that call and I'll introduce myself. And I'll be very serious about how I carry myself. Whether or not they say yes or no is totally irrelevant to me. I don't care if they think I'm a telemarketer. I'm not. I'm a prospector. I'm a hunter. But it doesn't bother me. It's really that drive behind my intention that gets me to carry forward that conversation. So I'll relate that to one of my best friends, great partner in the business at Steady Demand. His name is Ben Fisher. And some of you may know him. He's a brilliant man. He's a very powerful, what we call an amiable salesperson. There's all these different category types. He's knowledgeable. He's friendly. His intentions are pure as gold. And he, has no interest in closing the deal. Zero interest in that kind of thing. He really is the perfect salesperson in today's world because he wants to make it easy for you to buy. And that's kind of the way that I like to do things today. You want to make your environment for your client easy to make the purchase. You don't want to make, in my opinion, which it's just me. Everybody has a different theory, but I don't believe you want to make it hard and pressurized. Like you need to do this now, or your deal is going away. There's a place for that. So Ben, when I met him, and before I joined the team, was having a lot of trouble with that open. And what I told him was, here was this person, and this might relate to some of you, who has this amazing product. In fact, we're on the razor's edge of search technology. We have some data that we keep behind closed doors. It's amazing. I'm so blown away by what we do at Steady Demand. I love it. I'm passionate about it, and he is too. And he knows, and he's the key. He's the resource for this, and he is helping so many businesses, get back in front of the competitors, the larger companies, And I'm looking at this, and I'm saying, Ben, he's like, well, Adam, I don't know. I'm having trouble just picking up the phone and making these calls. And I said, well, Ben, if you don't do it, who will? How are you going to help them? And you have to remember that we're not, and I'm not saying, you need to pick up the phone book and dial 100 numbers and bother people all day, but you have to remember that if we offer a product and service that's good, and that can truly help this individual, you are hurting them by not getting in touch with them and telling them that. I think Ben made 100 calls that day. I'm not sure, but I think he did.
Say that again, because I think it's really important what you just said. We've talked about it a couple of times, but say it again for everyone else.
So, if you have a product or service that is really truly good, you believe in yourself, you believe in what you do, you want to succeed and win, you want your customers to succeed and win. That's your intention. If you do not find a way to connect with the right people, and this is somebody you can't market to sometimes. You know, we market, I market, constantly blasting stuff out. Please pay attention to me, please, please, please. If that doesn't work, I'm going to knock down your door and say, hey, you've got to hear about this. And that's important. It's important because you can really help them. If you can't help them, then go back to the drawing board, go back to the whiteboard and start, storyboarding out a new product. If it doesn't give you that fire, I know that Steady Demand can do things that no one else can do. We're very proud of that. I'm trying to be humble about it, not too effective, but I know we can, and I will knock down doors to make sure that the right companies know about it.
So Shell O'Connell had a comment, and whoops, where did it go? She says, I have found that people are more likely to do business with people who are promoting others instead of tooting their own horn. So how do you reconcile that with what you just said?
I think, I have a couple of things I'm thinking about there. Self-promotion, self-aggrandizement, that's one thing. But I'll give you another quote. I'm going to paraphrase this one because I might not get it right. It's from another salesy guy. This came after Carnegie. This is Zig Ziglar. And, you're going to get everything you want in life if you just dedicate yourself to helping others. So in terms of promoting other businesses, I spent some time at a trade show recently where I'm self-aggrandizing like crazy. So I'm doing everything I'm not supposed to do according to what we're talking about. And that is true. That is true. But I'm passionate about myself and I like to teach others. So it's, I have to do that a little bit. It's just the way I'm wired. And during that process, though, I always made sure to listen to what other connections people had. And I think that's kind of correlates to what you're talking about. So I probably referred, 4 or 5 different groups to each other. And that's coming back to, connections. And I have also found that the best success I've had is within building those connections about, networking friends together, bringing people together, and earning business for others as much as you earn it for yourself. And at that point, I absolutely agree on it. And it comes to a certain degree of selflessness, altruism, I suppose you could call some of it, but there is a self-interest in it, which is helping the people surrounding you that are in your network grow with you.
Okay, I just want to make a comment. We have someone, Google Translate has a fail, and we're getting comments in Cyrillic. And so Roland, I know you got a direct comment. The easiest way to get the translation is to copy that into Google Docs and have Google Docs translate it for you. That's my workaround for comments in the comment stream that need to be translated, because everywhere else Google just says translate and you go yes, but not in the comment stream. So I hope they're working on that. Hello Google, I hope you're listening. You can even do it after the show and then talk to Michael. All right. I'm sorry, Adam. I just wanted to clear that up because I as well find it very frustrating that translate is everywhere but in HOA comment stream.
Sure, no problem. I didn't expect so many great questions.
Yeah, this is a very I'm going to tell you, the Zapsters are a very active group.
I'm being introspective right now. I'm like, everything I just said, is that accurate? Do I believe myself? Gosh, I gotta really
you don't have time for that. to keep you on your toes. I've actually had a couple of people decline coming on this show because it wasn't scripted.
Oh, no, I don't mind that.
Yeah,
They should have seen the green room. We were having a great time.
we were,
Yeah.
yes, and oh, and then this is great. Okay, Kristen Drysdale says, "Laugh out loud." I just looked for the feels button. So yes, we were talking in the green room, and we were talking about cold calling, and whether you're cold calling on the telephone, which Adam does, or you're cold calling, say, on Google Plus, which is a little bit different. If you go into Hangouts and you'd like to engage in a conversation with someone. This goes back to Susan Finch was on a few weeks ago about manners. And I just want to reiterate that manners still apply. And so if you want to have a live conversation with someone on Google Hangouts, my suggestion is that you first just type in a little note. Hi, are you free? And then tell them why you want to have a conversation. Do you have a couple of minutes to chat about Panda? I'm just looking at William Warwick's name. Or if not, can we talk later today or whatever? Rather than just pinging the camera, it makes a huge difference. It's respecting that other person. And I think that when Adam talks about intention, that intention is human to human. I love his description on Google Plus about human to human interaction, because we are all human beings, and it does start with respect. Okay, off my soapbox.
I was hoping you would bring up mannerisms. Because I do want to preface this with I agree, and I think so. On the bottom of your sales funnel, which is the human-to-human interaction, everything else that I've come across in the social world, we talk so much about the higher rungs of the sales funnel, and there's a lot of automation that goes in the bottom rung. The bottom rung of your sales funnel is where the human connections really occurs. If you're not just creating those connections through outbound activity, whether that's in person or vocal. Mannerisms is important. I don't do a ton of cold calling, and again, that's time. I try it. I've got a whole bunch I'm excited to do about soon. I might be wired different again, but I think it's effective because today it's different if you do it right. But it is mannerism. That's another thing that carries that through. So, am I interrupting this person? That is one of the bigger blocks that people have when we're trying to earn business from somebody. If you're dealing with a CXO, at least, I can't tell you how many times I've had a CXO, of a high profile or a small and medium enterprise tell me, thank you for making sure you were persistent in getting through to me, because I needed your service. There's a difference between mannerisms when we are, like, hey, hi, my name is Tom and I sell this thing and you should buy it. Yes, want to buy it, versus, hi, this is Adam. I'm from Steady Demand. We're a social reach group. We focus on G+, semantic, search, a bunch of jargon you might not have heard of. So I'm sure I'm confusing you, but I might have convinced you to listen to me for 20 more seconds. Do you have 30 seconds? Do you have a minute to talk? No big deal if you don't. Very, very respectful intro. And with going into Google Plus and just pinging people with cameras, I don't know, why would you do that? Just say hello.
I don't know why you would do it either. But anyway, I just wanted to bring it up because some people believe that is making a connection, but it's not making a connection. And I think the important part of the conversation today and the conversations we've had in the past, and also conversations I've had with Ben, is the intention of your connection. So, and then Peter Heatherly, our wordsmith, says connections begin with language. So this is foundational to building up your relationship with your business contacts.
I agree. It's one of the reasons I love G+. I'm new to the network. Guilty as charged, and I'm a long form poster. As it turns out, I like to write. My brain thinks in 5 paragraphs at a time. I love David Amerlin's work, so I'm in heaven right now in this community. Um, and you're right. I think language is I couldn't have said it better. And I'd say if there's anything I wanted to be better at, and this is again what I'm actually here to learn today, it is, what happens after that initial, what I call an opening statement, or what is the lingo, the verbiage, the linguistics, the diction, the cadence, the context of how we communicate. And that's what you're all great at. You're all masters of that here. So I'm in the presence of that as far as I'm concerned. But I couldn't agree more. I think that's a beautiful way to put it. And I think in creating a human to human connection, how we carry ourselves with our language is what gives us that first opportunity to connect and say, we are like minds, we are kindred spirits or whatnot, or however, you want to look at it. Maybe we're just great talking together. So.
Right. And then I don't know, there's a major language pattern that happens in the business community. And so as far as what you do is concerned, you're using a fairly consistent language. But on the other hand, there are different ways of using language to say the same thing. So for some people, reaching out to people who do need the service, is a challenge as far as what is the language I'm going to use? What is that language? How casual am I going to be? What is the language that's going to, bring that person on board with me? I have a client in Croatia right now, and his language is English, is very casual. And so when we converse live, the language is very shortcut. It isn't very technical. Or if I have technical things to share with him, I make it as simple as possible so he can understand. And on the other hand, when I talk to someone like Peter, I can expand my language because he's such a wordplay person. So I think that is something to keep in mind when your client base is inconsistent. So Adam, for you, in the business culture, there's kind of a standard language, and you keep it plain and simple.
Kind of. That's actually, I'm not afraid to admit places where I'd like to improve, and that's definitely one of them. Listening is very important. So as far as like creating a solid connection, so I'm going to speak in terms of sales, because as real sales, not car sales. not to trivialize cars. I think my father owned a dealership, but I'm saying technology sales, I should say. Where the process is informational. Listening to somebody is critical. So if you do make that connection and you carry that over into another technique that we call mirroring.
Mm-hmm.
Mirroring is where, and that's something that I'd like to think I'm a little skillful at, where, if I'm talking to somebody with a Southern drawl, if I'm talking to somebody with a foreign accent, I will stop when I'm talking to somebody who has a language barrier with me. I will stop and I will listen, and I will endlessly and painlessly reiterate myself until we come to communication, because that person hasn't gotten that before from somebody who's impatient and ignorant or whatever. So if you mirror someone's speaking patterns, and you learn how to take and control your voice so that you're able to relate to them more, I find that you're much more effective. Now, where I fall down in mirroring is in usually like vocabulary. So I'll bring out terminology too early. Like I'll move into semantic search to somebody who's still trying to get over statistical keywords on SEO, and for all the phraseology from 10 years ago that we have 99% of the market still believes is in effect right now. Personalized search and how that works, and being able to describe that versus well, I mean, I just kind of fire hose people sometimes. I'm so excited about it, and that's another Ziegler quote for you is you're going to lose more sales. You're not going to lose more sales from too much enthusiasm than you will from lack of enthusiasm. So if you go in and you just kind of ramshackle everything, you're just really excited, and you lose it because they're like, oh, this person won't shut up. It's okay, because you've gotten 5 other people that you would have lost because you were too timid. That's my experience in that. Is that when I slow down and I match the conversational pattern in all that I do, whether that's an email or an instant message or a text message or a post or a direct conversation like we're having today. Like really listen to what people have to say. Be present, which is another place I struggle because I'm super ADHD. I have 50 tangents I want to go on right now. I'd rather be talking about my coffee mug, actually. But be present. And I communicate with a lot of great people, and that's something that I do still struggle with. And the more I find myself present, the more I find myself listening, the better I'm able to reply with the proper cadence, the proper diction, to use the words that they use, and express the product and service that I believe can help them, or the other project that I'm working on that I want them to be involved with, or hey, let's just go have lunch, to convince them to do these small things. And build those human interactions that create a real solid, engaged human connection that I can then, manage, be more effective on social because we're friends.
Right. Lee Rickler has a follow-up to that. He says, I have clients from many parts of the world and society, and sometimes need to go chameleon on them, changing my outlook, comments, and direction, etc. So I think that's just an echo of what Adam calls mirroring.
Well, the chameleon term is another sales term. I actually try not to get into that one for myself personally, but there is a group of thought that you are a chameleon. This is and I was having a little trouble describing this, but it's a little bit of pride in your ability to navigate society neutrally, because you can adjust your colors as you go. And if you have the intention of serving, it's not a big deal. I personally have a little bit of trouble with that because I want a little bit of genuine, output for who I am. But at the same time, and we talked about this earlier, Zara, I have clients that are culturally different than me, have different beliefs and values than me. And I personally love diversity of thought, of culture, of values, because I think that creates a better marketplace for us to exchange ideas and create new ones. I think I'm the only person that thinks that way sometimes, but I do believe that. So how do we navigate and be that chameleon? And I guess you could create an avatar for yourself, which all of us do. That forward place on Facebook or something like that, where you have this one look, and anybody who finds you there, that's what they believe you are. But then that's not necessarily who you do business with. I do business with a lot of people that are very conservative. I do business with a lot of people that are very progressive. They don't like each other or agree with each other, but I like all of them. So that puts me in kind of a spot. What do you do when you like everybody and nobody likes you? That's tough. So mirroring can help with that. I think intention helps a lot more. I think having the right intention of wanting to help them out, regardless of whether or not you disagree, depending on the extremity of that, of course. But I think that helps a lot. And saying, hey, I like this person. And so Zara and I were in the green room. We're talking about people with tattoos and piercings. And she was in. I hate to take your story, but I'm ranting. Okay. I warned you.
It was a wonderful morning. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, she was in San Francisco. This was some time ago, so even by today's standards, tattoos and piercings weren't as accepted. I live in a neighborhood that's the hipster part of town. There's tattoos and piercing everywhere. I don't have any, but that's just me. And she closed her eyes and listened to the conversations that these tattooed hipsters with black hair and metal t-shirts or who know whatever we're talking about. Their
chains going from one piercing to another.
Yeah, a big ring through the head.
Yeah.
How far can we go with this? And they were talking about tulips, trading flowers, and pumpkin bread recipes. Isn't that right?
That's it. It was just amazing. My eyes were closed. and I was listening to the conversations around me, and it was like, I'll trade you 3 of those yellow iris for 2 of your red tulips
Chain
and
going through the face.
and I was just like, okay, all of
Pumpkin
this
spice.
outward appearance, it's just gone. I mean, it was quite a revelatory moment for me. So that was in the early 90s, and it gave me a whole new perspective on it. It's the people. Everything Adam has been saying today, it's the people.
Love people.
And that the listening is the part where the engagement goes back and forth. But I really love what you say, Adam, about the intention. And that is, I have something that can help you.
Yes.
Which is totally different than I have this thing, you need to buy it.
Right. Yeah, no interest in that. I don't want to work for that kind of company or be that kind of person, And
you work with Ben, so
yeah. Well, he needs me to knock doors down. I love Ben. He knows that. I hope he's listening right now. I promise I tease him. I don't think I'm doing nearly as good of enough job. So next time, Zara, I'm going to come to the table with some really heavy stuff.
Okay, you're going to tease him. He is listening. There's a comment in here somewhere, which I found. Oh, yeah, here it is. Just so you know, Ben Fisher says, Adam Zale and Zara Altair rock. Thank you, Ben.
I would like to talk about the chameleon just a tad bit more.
Yes, go ahead.
Related to that statement, because I agree with that too. And I, so if you look in, this perspective that you cannot judge a book by its cover, that's really what that comes down to. You have to look inside of somebody regardless. You never know what you're going to expect. You never know who you're talking to. I was on an airplane on my way out to Denver for a trade show. We went to a great company called cPanel, run a lot of web infrastructure at a 3-day conference, and I'm lucky enough to go out and meet all these great people. On the plane ride out there, traveling, disheveled, tired couple sit the lumbers down, and wonderful people. I started asking them about what social networks they use. Just because I like to see what people have adopted. I personally have my own. I love Facebook for friends and family. I love LinkedIn for direct connection with business owners. I love Google Plus for getting to talk to smart people. That's just such a relief. And so I'd query, or I ask everybody, anecdotal survey everybody, like, what do you use? I'm sitting on this airplane with these 2 people, and she says, well, I like Facebook, I like Pinterest, I like Instagram. I'm very visual. He says, well, I use Google Plus. So, oh, you do? And it turns out he runs or is a moderator on Learn English, which is an international forum of 120,000 active users, engaged users. I never would have known, that these people dressed in casual clothing they could have this much. I mean, I just connected with them on a personal level, had this massive impact on my life that I know is coming. They turned out to be local San Diegans like me and want to start a meetup group for social. And it's just completely random because I took the time to say, hey, I'm Adam. How are you? I do stuff. What do you do? And it also spoke to other thing too. And I did want to say this because I'm also passionate about this. I know this is a tangent, but if anybody else tells you that Google Plus is dead, they're nuts. So I sat on an airplane and somebody told me he's got 120,000 users that are active learning English right now.
Yeah, I know. It's Google Plus is just amazing. We could go on with that forever. Anyway, we're coming to the end of our time, Adam. So do you have one last something that you'd like to share with everybody?
Well, I am new to Google Plus. I've joined a team that specializes on it. I understand it. I like to think I'm fairly technical and I like to understand concepts. But I myself am looking for human connections. I'm not looking to sell anything. I'm looking for smart people that like to talk about topics I'm interested in. So if anybody would like to connect with me, I'd love to make some new friends today. And if there's anything I said that made sense, or if you have questions, I do love helping people, and I do like promoting others as well. But I mostly really like to engage, interact. So if you have a communication barrier, a communication block, if you have anything that's like, hey, I wish I was more aggressive. I do a lot of other things aside from just bloviate. I like to talk, but I also do list management, building strategies, sales strategies, things that really affect the marketing funnel. Open offer to connect with me. Zara, I think I can just paste like my profile link in the chat window.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's and your whole introduction is in the description for the show today as well. So, and if anybody's a Pulp Fiction fan, you need to just go to Adam's profile.
I'm also a good dancer, it turns out. I'll do that for you someday. You have to earn that one, though. Yeah, but I'm looking to make new friends. I'm looking to, so that would be my call to action. Would be like, guys, I love talking about what I'm talking about. I love helping people. I'm here to serve, and if we can help each other out, or if I can help you overcome any kind of communication barrier you had, that's what I do. Professional sales trainer for 15 years, and I enjoy that. I love helping people get through those barriers. And if you have the right intention and you believe in yourself, there's no reason that you can't do that.
Oh, Adam, thank you so much. That was just fantastic. We could go on a lot more, but our time is over.
But we should hang out later.
Thank
tell you where I got this mug.
Great feedback. And Wick says, connect with all Zapsters, Adam Zale, and they will connect back with you. So there you go, two-way street. Anyway, thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Ciao.